you know, I think the elephant in the room here, or one of many, is that you know, when you get to a pledge drive, whether it's on PBS or NPR, the value prop really is, look, if you value our content, you're using it. If you don't give us some money, we're going to shut down. Right? I mean, it's the ROI is fair-based. It really is. And we are new in this model, and we don't have that. We don't necessarily have those millions and millions of people that count on Sesame Street or whatever our equivalent is to keep their kids safely occupied while they do other things. So, you know, I think that the membership card became a nice sort of like, you know, it was the cool charge game, right? It was the good way to do that. But I think that's where it became that manifestation of what you get tangibly back. But the notion of membership means I've identified myself with this, and I'm in support of this, and I'm a card-carrying, you know, whatever you want to say, member. And I think that maybe we need to get back to that emotional aspect of it, which is it's less about what you get back in tangible benefits for the me self. It's a lot more about saying, hey, you know what, this is important to me, and here's how I identify myself. And maybe we should be thinking about it more in those terms.
Sure. Sierra Club card that you carry around with you, that sort of idea.
Isn't the challenge to that, though, a perception that there isn't scarcity?
In investigative journalism?
To the average person
Well, this is not an average person conversation. Yes, you're right.
You know, for people who follow those types of things, I mean, even with, you know, news in general, right, this idea that there isn't scarcity in this product.
Well, that goes back to the AP study I was telling you about 2 years ago. People feel overwhelmed by the volume of news, but it's this deep, and they can't find the context that they want to see how it's relevant to their lives. So I think, especially given what's happened over the last 2 years with the crisis in journalism, hitting Colorado particularly hard, but everywhere in the country, that people are really beginning to see. PBS and especially public radio donations are up because people feel that fear.
So are you saying that we feel it's scarce and that the average Joe does not?
You
They have
do
more
not feel it's
information
scarce.
than ever.
But your point about the donations being up, maybe they do feel that there is scarcity. Maybe that's coming into play.
Well, I think they feel that it's definitely at risk. There's less than there used to be.
That's right.
And the marketplace is not going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, I would agree that there's not a sense of scarcity about national and international news so much probably because it's all over the place. But I think I think if you can get people to focus on it and think about it for 30 seconds, they recognize the scarcity in local news for sure. Because it's so obvious if you live in Denver, you know, one paper went away and the other one's, you can't even line your birdcage with it anymore because there aren't enough pages. You know, so.
Okay, just to go back real briefly to your comment, Kevin. I mean, part of what Matt and Danny and I are trying to do with the research, and again in the middle of it, is figure out new and better ways, and we haven't gotten there yet. But I have a few other ideas that we can throw out here. I'm sorry, I saw somebody's hand.
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
I don't want to change the subject completely if you want to go along with that, but just be curious if there was government funding available for independent investigative journalism, would anyone here
Bad.
take it? It's just inherently.
Okay, but what about NPR takes it?
Yeah.
And CPB takes it.
If they keep it.
Well,
the question is really going to happen is, I think it's going to be an issue as we've done before because you can't do the work. You have to weigh the work, the ability to do the work, not the university. So I think you've seen so many changes in the last 2 or 3 years in terms of concept and model and concept of how funded. It's going to start going the right way. As Laura just said, somebody just said, you know, the NPR and corporations is only a model that exists. It's just
although it looks like it's going to be finite.
right. But you know, like we work with Frontline and they pay us production, so we government money. We'll get split through the Frontline.
Yeah, but it's less and less and less. And you think you're more an expert on, you know, what's going on maybe with the BBC, for example. But people I know I've talked with at the BBC say everybody in America keeps telling us, oh, what a great model, we want to emulate that. And they've seen the same kind of crisis and pressure on their news coverage because, you know, what's happened here, we've consolidated with corporations, they've consolidated with government, and it's causing the same kinds of problems, just a different entity.
I'd want to see the details of any kind of program and really study them before I'd say yes or no either way, but I'd be nervous about it.
Yeah, it's not where you want to go there.
Yeah.
Not where we want to be anyway.
That's true.
I don't think, yeah.
Okay, can I get back to memberships for a little bit?
Memberships,
It feels like it's a topic that, see Dan?
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah, it feels like a topic that people are having a hard time getting their head around. I actually remember having a conversation with the VP of the New York Times, who was is basically one of the guys implementing the metered paywall thing, and they basically had three decisions to choose from: hard paywall, metered paywall, or membership model. And they did seriously look at it, but they had a hard time figuring out, okay, what is going to be in this? What is it going to mean to be a New York Times member? And so what we're trying to work on is to help them and you guys figure that out. So I hope we'll get there eventually. I just wanted to talk briefly about this tiered memberships, and I showed a couple of those earlier, like the Texas Tribune one, and all the ones that I've looked at. Matt, I don't know if you've seen any that aren't like this. The basic level is always a pretty low dollar figure, but it's not zero. So I think what the lowest for is often like $5 a month, or maybe less. But I would suggest that maybe we need to start that tier at zero. Just want to get more people as feeling like they're members, feeling like they're part of these entities, that they support what you're doing, and then it's a model that's pretty common, much more common in business, where then you can sort of upsell them to higher levels of membership. Where
We kind of do that because we have subscribers to our newsletter, which we don't charge for. So we know who they are, and we have their email addresses, and when we did do a membership drive last year, that's who we went after. But we didn't say you're already a member, and probably saying, even using the term membership was the wrong term, just give us some money is really what we were after, because we didn't offer very much. But I mean, I guess, what's the difference between a free membership and just having somebody who's already a subscriber to your newsletter?
Personally, I think, there's a big difference in meaning between subscriber and member. National Geographic, I don't think they do it so much anymore, but for a long time they had a very successful membership model. You didn't just subscribe to the magazine, you became a member. And
Sierra Club was.
yeah, Sierra Club, stuff like that. So
You're a member whether you want to, as soon as you
Yeah,
hit 50, you scared the
Great membership model.
Yeah.
The NRA and AARP. It's like,
Up here you have something
Certain
that
parts.
works. What works? Same model as phone apps, it works.
phone apps. Just
Using
Dan, when he was
membership
here,
works.
mentioned the idea that the majority of phone apps, if you look at the stats, are given away free, and then of course they're underpowered, and then you want to pay the extra dollar.
Oh, I get it.
So even though a phone app only costs $1, you would think, oh, why wouldn't you spend $1? A lot of people don't even want to do that in this digital environment. So, why not start it at the free level and hopefully get them hooked. So it's the same sort of thing. And I think LinkedIn has been pretty successful at that. I rely on my LinkedIn membership a ton, and although their pricing is just way too high, so I have never considered actually upgrading. But
They're giving away a free month. Right?
one free month, and then automatically on your credit card.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't see a lot of that in looking at all the other sites.
Well, I think that one of the barriers to entry around this is the administration, and I would say cost in both resources as well as time, right? In other words, look, if INN decided, if all the members came to INN and said, look, we'd like to do this, we can't do it individually, this is a centralized resource that INN should do, and if we can find somebody to help fund that, maybe we would certainly look at that. But again, would want to know from people who've been doing this effectively, what's the continual ROI, particularly in this very, very tough economic times. And it does seem to me that NPRs and CPB are going to be in a crucible now, and there's a lot to see about whether they can be sustained by this model. So I think it sounds great, but I think it's a very large initiative, and I think it's hard to do. It would seem to me, and you can tell me if I think I'm wrong, it would be hard to do on an individualized level without.
No, I mean, we have looked at this and have decided it's not something we can take on right now.
Have you found any, some vendors out there who offer membership technology solutions that wouldn't
No,
cost
we
a
haven't
lot
even
of money?
got that.
Um,
We just-
yeah.
It actually isn't
We
that
have no more
pretty.
capacity to do anything.
Yeah, you know, it's not, in terms of that, yeah, there is, I mean, what we did was we contracted with somebody to help us with it. We bought a list, and added a bunch of subscribers, then we just used our current e-newsletter program that we use to email everybody and ask for money, then we just set it up through PayPal and had it come in. But then we didn't really have any benefits to offer, we just basically asked people to give money and sort of gave suggested amounts. You know, the majority of people gave $25. We got a couple $1,000 donations.
How much did you get to?
Okay.
$6,000 or something, and you know, so is it worth it? I mean, $6,000 is $6,000, but it took some time and effort to do. But it wasn't.
How many hours
well,
do you do?
well, I paid somebody, but I only paid her $700 or $800, and then we paid several $100s more for the list. So because that wasn't something I was going to take on and do. So then it was more keeping track, and that was all pretty automated of who had actually, you know, contributed and all of that.
Well, there's one model that I think is potentially interesting is Civic Beat in Honolulu, which is John Temple and Pierre Omidyar's current. It's actually for-profit, primarily public interest use. And one of their little experiments is that they want you to pay 99 cents, I think it's 99 cents a month, in order just to be able to comment on stories or join in discussions. So I'm not advocating that, but I'm saying, what if, in order to say to comment on your site, you still had to be a member, but the core level of membership is free, and then you have this nice database of people that then you can hopefully bring up with better offers over time.
So
you would need a technology solution to implement that, and pretty sure they're out there. Sorry, I can't name one, but
maybe we're thinking about the membership model with the wrong customer. And this is just a question. So, I came out of LA and the whole, worked for a movie studio for a while. But the way in the days when corporations were doing matching, you could take a certain amount of good money from your 401k, and there were 8 basically approved charities. And this is how a lot of the studios did their charitable giving, but basically you got to pick from your list of 8, they would match dollar for dollar, and you got tax savings, and they got tax breaks, and these charities got millions of dollars in funding. And I'm wondering if we shouldn't be looking at membership programs to foster that kind of thinking in corporations, and say, look, why, what can you do to get your employees to give, and do it that way? Because let's be honest, when it's time to fill out the 401k, you got a list of 8 there, you're gonna pick one. You're gonna pick one, and that money's gonna go. So I'm wondering if maybe, instead of thinking about consumers who seem to love to consume content for free and then whine about what's happening about it, maybe we should be focusing more on corporations and giving in ways that have nothing to do with the editorial.
definitely. And admittedly, I did just kind of focus on the consumer angle of this, which does not apply to everybody. But yeah, that's a great idea. How are we doing on time? See Teju is here, so I want to make sure that I get him in. Let's see. I want to just say, just point out, exclusivity is, one of the key tenets to any sort of membership program, especially at the consumer level. And again, a lot of what I've seen that appears to be successful is access to journalists, access to the editor, to Rosie, and as well as to newsmakers. And I'm probably repeating myself a bit there. Let's see, just again some sort of out there ideas. There's just the idea of sites cooperating with each other, so that if you're a member of California Watch, that you're also have reciprocal memberships in Laura's thing, that sort of thing. The,
I love this, awareness and monarchy.
yeah,
That's brilliant, Steve. You should have started with this, right?
right.
He saved it to wake us up.
That's right.
So,